Zinedine Zidane, a name that echoes through the halls of football history, the magician with the ball, the man who danced past defenders, and the hero of France's first-ever World Cup victory. To the world, he was footballing perfection, effortless, elegant, and untouchable. But what if I told you that behind all the glory, behind the dazzling footwork and iconic goals, there was a darkness, a side of Zidane that few dare to talk about? Because his story isn't just about greatness, it's about battles, failures, rage, and redemption. This is the dark truth behind Zidane's legendary career. Before the trophies, before the headlines, a rough neighborhood in Marseille, France. His parents were Algerian immigrants, struggling to make ends meet in a society that often saw them as outsiders. Football wasn't just a game for Zidane. Its intensity was unmatched. He played with a fire that no one could ignore. And when things didn't go his way, he snapped. He hated losing. He hated disrespect. And more than anything, he hated being underestimated. This anger, this raw emotion, would follow him his entire career. It would make him unstoppable, and it would make him dangerous. By 17, Zidane had already been spotted by scouts, and he made his professional debut for wasn't an instant superstar. In fact, he struggled. Coaches criticized him for being too introverted, too unpredictable. Yet when the ball was at his feet, he was different. He had something no one could teach: grace, vision, and a terrifying ability to control the game. But there was also something else, a rage simmering beneath the surface. He wasn't just playing football, he was fighting for respect. Every foul against him felt personal. Every insult from an opponent cut deep. And when Zidane was angry, he didn't forget. 2. In 1996, he moved to Juventus. It wasn't easy. Defenders were ruthless. They kicked, grabbed, and tried to break him. And Zidane? He took it all until he didn't. He started retaliating. He threw elbows, kicked out at opponents, and got sent off 6 times in his 5 seasons at Juve. The Italian press labeled him too emotional. Some even said he wasn't disciplined enough to be world-class. But despite his flaws, his genius was undeniable. He won 2 Serie A titles, became the best midfielder in the world, and by the late 90s, every major club wanted him. Then everything changed in 1998. The 1998 World Cup was France's greatest chance at history. And for Zidane, it was more than just football. As the son of Algerian immigrants, he had grown up hearing that he didn't belong temper again. He stomped on a Saudi Arabian player and got sent off. It could have been the moment that ruined his legacy before it even started. Instead, he came back with the greatest performance of his life. In the World Cup final against Brazil, he scored 2 legendary headers, leading France to a 3-0 victory. Overnight, Zidane went from a great player to a national icon. But with fame came pressure, and for Zidane, pressure led to explosions. In 2001, Real Madrid broke the world transfer record to sign Zidane for €77.5 million. And in his very first season, he delivered one of the most beautiful goals in football history, a left-footed volley in the Champions League final that secured Madrid's 9th European title. It should have been the perfect career, but Zidane's demons never left him. His temper flared up again and again. In 2004, he headbutted a Villarreal player and was suspended. He nearly retired early. And then came 2006, his final year in football. And that's when everything unraveled. The 2006 World Cup final was supposed to be his perfect ending. He had dragged an aging French team to the final almost single-handedly. In the final match against Italy, he even scored a ridiculous Panenka penalty in his last ever game. But then, in extra time, came the moment that defined everything. Marco Materazzi whispered something. Zidane stopped. He turned. And then, boom, a headbutt to the chest, a straight red card. His last act in football was a moment of pure rage. Some called it madness. Others called it poetic. But one thing was clear. Zidane's career didn't end with a trophy. It ended with his darkest moment on the biggest stage. For most players, that headbutt would have been the end. A tainted legacy. A career defined by a single mistake. But Zidane, he didn't just come back. He rose again, this time as a manager. In 2016, he took over Real Madrid and did what no one thought was possible. He led them to 3 straight Champions League titles. No one had ever done that before, and he did it with the same fire, the same brilliance, and yes, the same cold-blooded ruthlessness. The truth behind Zidane's career. So what's the dark truth about Zidane? It's that his career was never about perfection. It was about contradictions, about elegance and aggression, about brilliance and chaos. He was both an artist and a warrior, a genius and a ticking time bomb. Some players win through pure skill, others through sheer determination. Zidane, he did both. And in the end, that's what made him legendary. The question is, was Zidane's temper a curse, or was it the secret to his greatness? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you love football's greatest stories, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon, because we've got plenty more legends to uncover. See you in the next one.